Hey everybody, it's Valerie Wallace Fine Arts, drawing with me today at 1 o'clock. It's April, isn't it? Saturday, April 18th.
Yeah.
18th. And I've been at this about a month. And every day I do a little drawing class at 1 o'clock. And we have a variety of subjects to do. And you can see my playlist on Facebook or also on YouTube. And you can see 20-something different pictures to choose from. And I'm going to take you through this in a very simple way so that if you have never done any drawing, today's the day for you to draw a lion. All right?
Gravy's on.
Hey, Mom. Okay. We ready? Okay. All right, well, let's do it. We're going to start right here with this line on the forehead. Okay? You want to get that up near the top of your paper, okay? Whatever you're doing, we're not seeing all of the mane, so you don't have to worry about it. You want to leave a portion, like don't get it too high, but you want to get it up there near the top, okay? And I'm going to use whatever light goldish, yellowish color that you have to plan this out with. And then as we go along, we'll put in some darker colors, okay? So I'm going to start and I'm going to make a line that's right about here, that's about this long. And this, I'm going to make it dark so you can see it, but you can make it lightly as, I gave you two choices. You can choose whatever you want.
Okay.
Where's my charcoal?
Right here.
Oh. Alright, and I'm going to do one in charcoal down below here. Okay, so that's going to be, I have plenty of room up top. I'm going to do that about here. Okay? All right, now what we have to do is the face it's symmetrical, and it goes out, it's almost like the shape of a kite, except that it doesn't point at the top, okay? So we need these two lines to come out to the side, and they're basically the same length as the line on the top of the head, but you have to get them to come out to the side, all right, not straight down. I mean, not way out there. If you get them way out there, you'll just have to redo it, okay? So you're coming down at an angle about like that. You just have to eye it up a little bit, all right? And then I'll measure this, and I'm a little bit shorter than what I have there, so I'm going to go down just a little bit more, okay? Is this looking even?
Yeah, it looks pretty even.
Pretty even? All right.
Pretty even.
All right, so I'm going to do the same thing down here. Okay, and I'll measure this, and I'll measure this, and we're right on track. All right? Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to mark kind of where these eyebrows are. Sort of where, at least, I guess he doesn't have eyebrows, but like where the forehead has a little bit of an indent to where it protects the eyes, okay? The eyebrow is a little bit above this cheekbone part, okay? So you're going to start it up here, and roughly they're about half the size of this original line, okay? Which is going to keep them apart in the middle because you're going to be out here wider to start with. If you're a little different, then you'll just have to adjust it. But I'm going to have these lines kind of tilt downward a little bit like that. Okay, so there should be a pretty big space between the two lines, okay? All right, and I'm going to check and say, all right, that's about half that size. That's about what I have, okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've got Daphne here with me today, helping me out, keeping me company.
Always.
Always, because we're here. We're in quarantine together. Or whatever, sheltering in place. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We will mark, we're going to sort of suggest the eyes too, okay? He has little eyes. Little eyes, big snout, big mouth. Okay, so you don't want big, I mean, it will look kind of cartoony if you make really big eyes. Right here, right under, kind of touching that line, you're going to make sort of an upper lid that's kind of like this, and then underneath that, you're going to round it a little bit like this. Okay? Because he's a little aggressive looking. So keep that in mind if you want to draw a cartoon of somebody looking kind of aggressive. Then you want to have these on the eye, real close to the eyebrow, and the eyebrow with a little slant. Are these eyes down here? No,
No, not quite even.
All right, so let's see. I'll have to doctor this one up. I'll bring this up a little bit. I'll thicken this up. I'll bring this down, bring this up. Now are they more even?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Closer? This one's still lower.
Yeah.
All right, that won't matter though. I'll just add on the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got that?
Yeah, I made mine a little too small.
Better on the small side.
Yeah.
All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mark his nose is pretty much what?
Oval? Oh,
This one.
triangle.
This part is it has some groovy stuff going on, but it's basically a triangle, okay? So we're going to have a line that's right here, all right? And the length of his nose it's bigger than his forehead, and this is kind of important. So what I would do is measure the size of his forehead, from his forehead, from the top line to his eyes, and then bring it like this, and then what I want you to do is
Just make it a little longer.
let's
Right.
make it a little bit below there. All right, that'll help me. I'll do that. I'll mark a little bit below that, and that's going to be here, and I'm going to make a line that goes across, okay?
Okay.
So then I can just check it and see. I want this section here to be bigger than what I have up here, which is not really, so I guess I'll bring this down a little bit more. I don't know. It'll be good enough. It'll be close enough.
Yes.
But that's my goal, is to make... Why did I measure? I guess if I measured it like this and this, then I'm going to go down here a lot lower.
Yep.
Okay? All right. It's a little bit triangular shaped, so we want this line to be... If you look at this guy up here, it lines up with, the corner of his eye. So be at least that wide, if not wider, okay? So that we can make a line that goes like this and one that goes like this, and they're going to go in a little bit. A little hard for me to see. Right? Is it working?
It looks good to me.
Okay, so I'm stretching this out here to here. Okay. All right. Make a little dot in the middle of your line. Drop down, make a little dot like this. And then what I want you to do is connect from here to here. Okay? And we've decided that to make this look more lioness-like, or whatever, not lioness, because this is a boy lion, right? Make this leonine. Right?
I don't
You
know.
don't think that's a word?
No, that's, I don't know.
Leonine.
That's not my expertise.
Yesterday you were all down with the vocab. Well, anyway, to make it seem less human, we want to exaggerate this part of his face. Okay? Otherwise, it looks a little bit more like somebody dressed up in Cats. The music.
I don't think we want that.
I don't want that.
No.
All right. And then a little line like this. All right.
Alright.
So a little spot. We'll bring this in. We can do some fancy jazzy stuff with his nose.
That's
Oh,
exciting.
I'm starting to get pretty running out of room on this one, but it's gonna fit on there. But I'm not gonna have this mane hanging down here, I guess. Oh well, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's not important. Okay. All right. He is also relatively narrow, and I had sort of a tendency before to get him a little bit wider. So I want you, it's from this point right here, it starts to tilt in roughly towards like where the nose is. So make a little mark on the outside of the nose. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you? Okay. So close, because from the corner of his nose to the side of his face, it's pretty close. So I want you to mark that, and then you're going to connect from here down to there. All right? And that'll get his face coming in a little bit. All right? So I'll do that again. Make the marks right here. And I'll bring that in like this. Alright, whoops. Alright, now the other part is he has the nice big little pouches right here on either side of his, where his whiskers grow. Okay, so from the tip of the nose you want this little line, and then you want, don't think about anything else, just look at this. And see how his mouth kind of just, it's sort of a triangle, top of peak of a roof or something, and they go down to the sides, okay? So you're going to come down like this and down like this. Alright? Well, this one I'm giving a sway to him.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's alright too. Alright, so I'm going to go down like this and down like this. And then, not huge roundness, but a little bit. You're going to round this a little bit. Alright, and then he has kind of a little box underneath. Don't make it too little, though. It looks funny. It looks like he's doing an overbite if you make this chin too small. And it's just kind of a little box. But see how it starts almost where the pouchy parts do on the side of his face, okay? So it's kind of like that. Does that look right, or is that too big?
No, I think that looks good.
Alright.
Maybe a little bit more, well, I guess.
What?
Longer.
Longer where? The whole thing?
Yeah, just elongate it.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll bring this. Alright, I'm back again. I don't know why, but Facebook decided to install something in the middle of my live show. Am I in the right place?
What do you mean? Like position your body in the right place?
I mean, is everybody caught up to here?
Oh.
Did I get this far?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, the video came
Does
to
anybody's
here.
answering?
Nobody is on quite yet. Okay, we got someone.
Well, there were some people that were watching, and they said it was frozen. So.
Yeah, Smell said it was frozen.
Oh, okay. Is it okay now?
Well, yeah, it's going now.
All right, whatever. And if you can't, I'm sure any of you.
I think it's caught up.
Everybody that was watching won't have any trouble figuring out what to do. Okay, so yeah, get yourself a nice sized snout down here. Anyway, all right. All right, maybe hold it up in front of you and check and see if you're on the right track as far as long and narrow with a big lower half of his face. Okay? Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, he does have ears. Alright, and they're not actually, they're in the fluff, right? So you don't have them touching this line here. But you want to have, some kind of curve out there, like that. Right now, and then he looks like a little teddy bear.
Cute.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
He's not going to be cute in the end, though. He's going to be vicious and powerful. Oh, and that's cute, too. They look like
that
the girl
looks
lion
like
right now.
Or the Pink Panther. That's what I keep thinking.
Okay.
Especially your one at the bottom. Looks very Pink Panther-y.
It does.
I think it's because it's narrow.
It's also a little wackadoo right here. Let's see.
I don't think
This
it's that
is.
bad.
They're not eat. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. I've done classes with this lion. Well, not exactly this picture, but a lion a lot of times. And I always think the mane is the easy part, but a lot of times people really struggle because they don't know how to make the colors all blend, and they don't know which way to color it in. But think about it as a big oval around his head, because if I drew basically a big circle around his head, all of a sudden now it's a lion. So don't get caught up just yet in every little hair that he has on there. And it's also not super short. You know, kids love to just color a little inch-long line all around the face, but I mean, a mane is awesome. So don't make it skimpy. Make it big and flowing and wild and delicious, okay? So up here, I'm going to start, because it's really off the page, I'm going to have to start just kind of cut out the corners a little bit. And I have enough room here that he has the part that hangs down on his chest. Okay, so I'm going to have those lines go right off the bottom and right up here like that. Okay, because this is really it. right? This is all you need for a line. We've got them on here. So now it's really about different techniques for coloring them in, right?
Right.
Okay.
It looks great.
Okay, so I want to have, if you can see, that side of his face is a little darker, this side of his face is a little bit lighter, okay? And that also the mane on this side is a little bit darker. So basically, you can pick all your favorite colors and like divide, take your light ones and use it on the left side and use your dark ones on the right side. You can use whatever colors you want to use. Okay, this is a good time to use a little purple, because purple and yellow make brown, but I mean that way you've got purple, which I'm going to use a little of that. I think what I will start with is the basic, a little bit of the shading. The last thing I'm going to do is to put in the darks that are here on his eyes and on his mouth. Okay, that's the last thing I'm going to put on there because I don't want it to get all smudged around with everything else when I'm doing it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to use, I used this brownish one before, but I wasn't crazy about how it looked. But, I don't know, what do you think? Maybe I'll use this one. Maybe I'll use this brown instead.
I'm just going to use the one you don't
Okay, so one thing, the eyebrow part is a little bit dark. So you're going to go on that, all right, on both of those. If you're working in pencil, you can just kind of reiterate those a little bit. You want to hit up the, around his face for the most part. Okay, so I have this line here. I'm going to check this one out. Go over the gold on that. Bring it down this side. All right. Okay. All right. He's also has a little sliver, like a little triangle of his forehead. That's where it's flat, and then it kind of rounds back this way, and that's where that happens. So I'm going to go over this brown with my gold. So I'm going to try to go a little bit on the lighter side. All right? If you're doing this in black and white, don't be shy about putting the darks on there. Put them on there because that's what's going to give it shape. Okay, you can always, even if it's a pencil or if it's a charcoal or if it's a pastel, you can always take an eraser and soften that up if you have to. Okay, so I'm going to erase it like it was never there, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to put a little brown like right in here, the side of his face, and down here in his pouchy part a little bit. It's a little bit different color, I think, but. Okay, so the question is, how many people watching have watched the Tiger King? That's really the question.
I bet not, Grammy.
Well, she doesn't have Netflix.
Mm.
And what do you think? Okay, up in here, I'm going to put a little bit in his ear. I'll put a little bit on put a little like half circle in the ear here. Alrighty, I'm going to put a little bit right above this eye here too. Alright, he also has a little on this side of his face because it's where the hair kind of goes. It fluffs out and then it comes in to his skin. And there's a little space, a dark space right there.
Nice.
That's the demonstration on that. Okay? Now this is... Yeah, well, I'll hold on for that for a second. But keep whatever, if you're using a color, keep that handy because you're going to want that. I'm going to put a little of the gold on his other parts, and then I'm going to put white on top of that. Okay, so I'm going to use two colors there. Maybe go this direction. Sometimes you think about if you're painting too, you want to think about the direction you're putting on the paint. It will help to define the different planes of the face, meaning the kind of like flat areas of the face, rather than just painting up and down like you're painting the side of the house, you know. You want to be, what's the word? Considerate. Considerate?
Mindful.
You want to be mindful? Oh yeah, that's a very artsy term, isn't it? Well, it's also like a yoga
Yeah, that's
term,
what I was
too.
thinking.
Okay.
Very zen.
Very zen, okay. Everything's zen, everything's zen. Do you know that song?
Nope.
It's Bush. It's Gavin, whatever his name is, the one who used to be married to Gwen Stefani.
I don't think I know.
Back in the 90s. I liked it a lot. I'll have to play it for you. Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, this is, alright, the next thing I want to do before I put the second coat on here is I want to put a little color in the eyes. So, pick something light. Yellow, gold, green, blue, pink.
Blue-eyed lion.
Blue-eyed lion, yeah. Probably something genetically modified. I'm going to use green. I'm going to use this light green, and then I'm going to put a little bit of gold with it. So he's going to have greenish, goldish eyes.
Beautiful.
Okay. Like that. Down here, I'm just going to have those smudged in. I want it a little bit lighter so that when I go to put the dark on there, you can see it. Because if it's too... Your phone's blowing out, Daff.
I know.
Okay. Is Veronica watching?
Veronica is watching. And
okay.
She says, Carol Baskin.
Okay, I am going to put the gold on my brown over here.
Killed her husband.
I think it might be your brother.
Upstairs?
Yep.
Unfortunate.
Aren't you, wouldn't you rather have to be quarantined with your brother than no one?
No, I'd rather be alone.
You would not.
Mom, would you rather be quarantined with Calvin or alone?
Yes.
That's a lie.
You don't know how many people are out there super alone, like really alone, and they would be happy to be quarantined with their brother.
How miserable Calvin would be listening to me eat.
Well, you'd have to eat in separate rooms. Okay, and I'm gonna put the white on here, and this is gonna be awesome. Look at that. It's just the right color, isn't it?
Yep. But you're hogging all the good colors.
Oh, do I have them all in my hand?
Yeah.
Okay, here. Carol Baskin.
Killed her husband?
Whacked it. I wish I could do the dance. I'd do it for you.
We'll have to learn.
Maybe I will have to learn.
And then we'll do tiger.
Add that to my repertoire.
You got some moves.
There's not enough room for me to do my moves.
No.
We'll leave that to Dustin.
We'll leave that to Ruby.
We'll leave that to Ruby.
Ruby's got the moves.
Ruby Jean Photography. When you're back in regular life and you need somebody, or maybe you just need a distant photography done. Ruby Jean Photography. Okay. Good?
Oh, great.
Okay, so what I want to do is put a little pink on the nose.
Cute.
I know he doesn't have a lot of pink, but it's fun. Okay, and he does have this very, interesting shape to the nose. It's kind of like this, kind of like two little pieces. But I mean, if you want a little pink on there, this is the time to do it. Okay. Now, I want to, so down here what I'm going to do is just going to smudge that around on there. And maybe erase a little on the middle of his nose. That'll help give that.
That's good. Hello.
Well, you know know what? It sticks on there.
I know.
Get a cloth. And if I rub it, there we go. Okay? Like that. Maybe right here on the cheek. The pouch. What do you call that?
I have no idea.
I always call it the pouchy part of the face, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is.
I don't know what they call it in the real cat vernacular.
Well, maybe you can ask Carol Baskin.
I bet she probably doesn't know. Alright.
It's throwing shade, Mom. I'd be careful. It's on the internet. I'll come after you.
Well, I could probably say something about the Tiger King because he's incarcerated.
This is true.
Okay. I wanted to do the nose here. And then we're going to do the mane. I'm going to show you what I mean about the mane. Let's see. What was I going to do? Something here. Oh, yeah. Color this nose a little bit. Okay. So what you want to do, we're a little darker over here. I'm going to use some colors. And we're a little bit lighter over here. But you want to take this brown outline that you have and make it part of the hair, okay? So you're going to draw right on here, right on that line. You can make this a little darker. See how it's got a little pocket of dark down here? But bring those lines nice and long, okay? And if I bring something right along the bottom and I make it kind of jig-jaggedy up against there, it'll look a little bit more like he has a little hairy chin.
Jig-jaggedy.
Jig-jaggedy lines, like that. Okay, but I'm going to make them long. And his hair is coming out of the side of his face and drooping downward. So we want these lines to be... And if you're just drawing with pencil and you're not going to fill the whole thing in, just don't have little short lines. Let them come all the way out into that shape that we have. Okay? You're going to want to put something in here. Okay? See how that works like that? Maybe I'll do a little of that over here too. Same color. Okay, so I went kind of along and then I'm bringing these lines long. Okay. In the forehead, we want to take that brown line and we want to do the same thing. We want to bring them up. I've seen people, they just go along the outside and it's just little tiny bit all around the outside. That doesn't have to be even either. You don't have to do it exactly the same everywhere. You can kind of do some patches of one color, a little heavier in some place and a little lighter. That's almost the hardest thing about drawing, is figuring out how to do things random and loosely. So, if it doesn't make sense, you'll learn. I've noticed one of the greatest things about doing this is the people that show me their pictures, they just keep getting better. You just become a little more familiar with the material that you're using and, the same paper, the same pencils, the same colors or whatever, and they just keep getting better. You remove, I have no idea, what this color is going to do when I put it on. It's like you've done it a bunch of times. So you're like, oh, yeah, I know how that works. Oh, I know what color I want to use for this. And, some of the things I keep saying will start to, click and make sense. Sometimes maybe they never will. Maybe they're crazy and they don't make sense anyway. I don't know, but...
It's possible.
All right. So I got this awesome yellowy color up here. I don't know, and things like everybody's random is a little different style. So why have one way of doing it, but you're going to have your own way of doing it, and you want to figure out what that is, right? I'm going to go with a little darker brown in here on this side. Let's do this for a minute, and then we're going to do the dark things so that we can be done. And you can continue to color in and have fun doing that all day long. While you listen to the Tiger King again. Or something new. Or music. Or you
Or a podcast.
With your family. Or a podcast. I listen to a lot of stuff you should know. But I also listen to 500 Songs by Andrew Hickey. The History of Rock and Roll and 500 Songs. I don't know how he puts it on there because I always have a hard time finding it when I haven't had it on my... I haven't listened in a little bit. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Because I love me some rock and roll history. Alright, that's... let me do a little down here. And then we'll do carrying on. What about you, Daphne? What do you listen for podcasts?
You know I listen to stuff you should know.
She does. I do know. We listen to it together. Then we discuss the things we learned. Like yesterday, I was painting trim because I want to do all the painting that needs to be done. My floor is ridiculous, but I'm over it.
Yeah.
Has like a lot of hairy, dusty footprints in it. So I was painting the trim, white trim, like on the stair risers and stuff. And I listened to the Tylenol Murders.
Oh, I listened to that one.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I lived in that time. I was in high school then.
Oh.
I don't really... I guess
you had more important things going on.
I probably wasn't paying very close attention, but... I do remember people being terrified and like not, if you open something up and, you know, for quite a while, if you open something up and you didn't think that the cap was sealed or whatever, that you'd be like not want to use it because you thought maybe you're going to be full of cyanide. But now you got to know too that cyanide degrades a product pretty quickly. So, and it also smells like almonds. So don't eat something if it's like that. It smells like weird almonds and is degrading. Okay, all right, let's do it.
This is good advice.
That's what I'm here for.
Safety.
I am gonna take this dark. Oh, you know what? I never used the purple. I'm gonna use that. All right. I want to put a little out in the corners for my background. My lion is in a purple world, like that. This is probably his body down here. So maybe a brown. What?
Nothing. I just like your lion's looks very
Leo-ish.
Yeah.
Becky's gonna, speaking of Leos, Becky and her boyfriend are gonna do a drawing class.
They are?
Yep. I sent her the link to the sea creatures because she's a marine biologist person.
I didn't know.
How's that? All right, so pick something dark. Maybe black. I'm going to use this dark brown, I think, instead of black. But, you know, black is a great idea for these things, too. Okay? If you want to go all the way for it. All right. Let's turn this lion let's bring it to life. Okay. I want to do this line across his eye, okay? Maybe even blend that into that eyebrow again. Okay, I'm going to get that line. He has got little eyes, so keep them on the small side. If you have to draw on the inside of your line, then I'm going to do this part. And a little pupil. It has a little pupil. Normally, like humans, they have a big eyeball in there, but this is just the black part. Alright? He's got a little extra right here in the corner of the line that comes down. Okay, that kind of tucks his eye underneath his forehead so that it won't get poked out as easy. Because that'd probably make a lion mad, get his eyeball poked. Okay, if you notice, there's a little bit of black here, and it runs right down the middle of his, I don't know what that's called, I need to find out what that's called, that thing that divides an animal's snout like that. Okay, so you have a straight line. This one has a little bit that goes over this way. Alright, you know, it's a little asymmetrical, so you do whatever seems right. Because obviously this is somebody's, I don't know who did it, I can't always figure it out. I try, but, you know, you can use your own creative license with that. Alright, and then I want to get my, mouth on there. Okay, and I'm going to get a little heavier on the right side of his nose, because this is how I'm going to get his nose to stand out off his face a little bit. It's by creating a little shadow. Maybe down here I'm going to make this nice and, I don't know if that's working or not, but right in that area. Alright. So down here, I'm going to make this part. When you're doing a face, whether it's an animal's face or a human face, you need to define your features a little bit. I mean, they are the important thing. You don't, you want those to be clear, unless you're doing something a little unusual with your drawing, but normally that's what you want to do. All right. On there, and this on there. We're gonna go out and pick up sticks left over from the big storms. Was that last weekend? Did we lose power last weekend?
Yeah. The week flew by.
It did fly by. Really? Was it just last weekend? Feels like a long time ago.
Oh, it feels recent for me.
Okay. Does that make sense? We got them on there? Is there more to be said? If you want to watch some other videos today on your Saturday, maybe with your family, try some things out. Everybody can do it, I promise you. Some are a little quicker than others, but you can always stop and slow down. Pick something that appeals to you and give it a whirl. And do it together as a family. It's fun. Okay? And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I have to come up with some more pictures, and I'll do that later today. And it's ValerieWallaceFineArts.com if you would like to leave me a donation or anything like that. Hey, Dennis and Sue. Carol Baskin fed her husband tigers. To the tigers, yeah, that's what they say. Not her, though. She doesn't say that. Hey, Natalie. David Gifford. Angela. All kinds of fun people. Natalie, I can't wait to see yours. I bet it's going to be delicious. All right. Thanks so much for watching.